Time for the net to start, so I'll talk to you in a little bit. KF5, JLJ.
Hi, Andy. Good talking to you. I'll talk to you in a bit, and I'm going to get this started and grab some seltzer water and get ready to rock and roll. Good evening, ham radio operators, and welcome to the Weekend Wind Down Net. Before we get going, is there any emergency or priority traffic in this frequency? Alright, well, this is Ernesto, KI5PZN, that's Kilo India 5, Papa Zulu November, bringing you the Weekend Wind Down Net. If you're using the Universal Link repeater system, make sure your tone is set to 97.4. This net is also linked to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. If you're listening through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and you wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. If you are outside of Austin, we would love to hear from you too. The way to get in is via Echolink by connecting to KA5D-R or K5TMT-R. You can also reach us via All-Star by connecting to node 51444. The Weekend Wind Down, it's a RACTUNET. We get together on Sunday nights to talk about the weekend. Did you work on a project, barbecue, watch a movie, or were you stuck catching up on chores? Tell us, ham-related or not, was your weekend a blast or a bust? Please note this is a directed net, so please refer all calls to net control. Don't forget to leave room between check-ins and transmissions to allow for any emergency traffic. We're using the Universal Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system, so big thanks to Kyle K5D and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club for letting me use their repeater system for this net. To learn more about the Universal Link repeater system, please visit ka5d.com. If you would like more information about the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, including how to become a member and how to join the Discord server, go to n50ak.org. It's free to join the club. Well, let's start the Weekend Wind Down Net with a segment called Discord Dish, where we serve up our favorite Discord post from the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Discord server. Alright, and I am going to start this week here with a post on the Build Projects channel by Rusty WZ5 BBS. This was a couple of days ago. The coolest robot I've ever built. So if you're interested in robot building, go and check that out. It's on the Build Projects channel. There is a lot of activity on the Antenna channel. That's a very active channel. Everybody's calling in with issues or questions regarding antennas or, I don't know, possible scenarios on projects, and it's really entertaining and educational to follow that channel, the Antenna channel. There's a lot of activity, like I said, on that channel, and if you have any questions regarding antennas, that's a great place to go and ask the guy. And Pat, W5WTH, has been posting some really cool projects on the Build Project. Very, very neat and interesting projects. He's posting almost every week, and they are very interesting stuff. Again, if you are into building stuff, go and check that out. It's a fun channel. a video also posted, this is a couple of days ago, a few days ago, on the general channel by Rusty, WZ5EBS. There was some dude cutting grass using a laser, so go and check it out. I bet that would be fun to do. I'm sure you'll kill all the bugs, but it would be fun to cut the grass using a laser. I thought that was neat. We have an 11-meter channel, because why not? And Sam K5JM posted an interesting video there of like a vintage CV antenna that people used to install their houses, and it was interesting because for whatever reason it looks like like one of those dancing like one of those poles where people do the dancing. Very interesting. For 11 meters, I'm gonna have to get one of those and do my do my little dance before I get on 11 meters. In fox hunting, we've been having fox hunting. This is hidden transmitters I'm talking about almost every weekend. And I know Sky N5LX had his transmitter out there this weekend. It's been a while since I've been able to join the fun. I've been busy working on the weekends, but there's a lot of fun to be had. So if you are interested in fox hunting, again, hidden transmitter hunting, we have a channel, Fox Hunt channel on Discord, and you can also go there to ask questions about the fox hunting and how to do it and all those things. It's been fun, so go and check that out, Fox Hunting channel on Discord. VHF and up, there's a channel for VHF and up, and a couple of days ago, Kyle, KA5D, had a post there that 6 meter was open to Europe. That was pretty neat. By the time I got in, it was not open anymore. I got 6 meter heard that I was getting on the radio, and it just turned itself off, and that went away. I missed it, but that's something to keep an eye on, because you never know. So if you have that on your phone, Discord, you can know when the 6 meter open, and you can jump in and not be like me. There is a channel for shortwave, and Bill M5SMO posted a video, and there's a big transmitter. This is a huge transmitter on a shortwave station. It's so big that you can walk inside of it. So that's very cool, and that's on the shortwave channel, and that was Bill M5SMO. Alright, well, those were the posts that I grabbed this week. I've been so busy during the week and the weekend that it's been tough to get on Discord, so I'll do my best to grab one of those fun ones during the week, but keep an eye on that. We have the Discord server. To get there, you can go to m5oak.org. You can scroll down and join the Discord server. I said it's a great place to go and meet people, ask questions, and just stay in touch and up to date with what's going on with the ham community around here. So don't forget, it's free to join. Well, this is Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. via the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. Alright, and I would say I had a really awesome weekend, very productive. I did work on Friday, and then Saturday went to the Saturday morning breakfast on Waterloo Ice House. If you guys are new hams or new to the area, we get together every Saturday around 8 a.m. and we stay there for a couple of hours hanging out, a bunch of guys, at Waterloo Ice House, and this is on the Burnett Road location, this 8600 Burnett Road. And if you're going to put it on your Google thing, it's 8600 Burnett Road, Austin, Texas, 78757. And we get there every Saturday. This last Saturday we have about 25 people there. Really fun group, and I recommend hanging out there. It's a really good place. It's fun. It's been a lot of fun for the last few years that I've been going to, but it's every Saturday. Well, we did that. We were there for a few hours, met new people, and new to me people too, new hams and new to me hams. Had a great time, and then after that, I went and worked on the nonprofit on Saturday. That was all day and today, and I got home not that long ago, and I was joking to Andy that I'm still covered in the sheetrock dust. So this is, I guess I should call it the dusty net, but so that's what's up. That's what's happening this weekend. I got a whole bunch of stuff done and a whole bunch of fun also there on Saturday morning. I wonder how everybody else's weekend went, so let's call for check-ins. But before we do that, let me do a quick ID. This is a weekend wind down net hosted by Ernesto KI5PZN on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. via the University Link repeater system and the OCO Amateur Radio Club repeater system. Oh, any licensed operator is welcome to check in new hams. This net is new ham friendly, so we would love to hear from you. All right, well, any modes and anywhere, please call me with your name and call sign.
N5WRW. This is KF5JLJ. Andy.
Jim, KJ5AZP.
This is KB5MPJ, Jason and Vita.
All right, we got Dwight, Andy, and Jason. Let's go and check with Dwight. N5WRW. Dwight, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
Pretty good. Cooked some food on the grill tonight, and it's been pretty quiet here in Buda.
Well, right on. Very cool. Did you get to do any HF during the weekend? Back to you.
No, I'm working on it. I've got antennas and feed line and stuff coming to get an HF antenna up.
Well, very cool. What do you have right now? What's your setup now?
Just 2 meter 440 and 1200 into a triplexer, and then to the a 3-band diamond antenna up not very far.
Well, very cool, man. Yeah, no, I mean, it gets you out. I got a good signal and everything, so very cool. So what's the plan? When are you planning on having the HF rig up and running? Back to you.
Oh, maybe a week or so. I've got an end-fed something or other coming, and I'm hoping to be able to run it to one tree and then run it over to the next tree, and generally it says it'll handle a kilowatt, and I've got an 800-watt amplifier, but I'm not going to put it in line yet.
Well, very cool, man. Yeah, and Fez, that's what I have, and that's kind of how I had it set up. It's just go through a couple of trees, and then it makes a left, and then goes down. It's just, yeah, it's an interesting setup, but it works really well. Well, very cool, man. That's very awesome. And that amp, have you used the amp before? Back to you.
This is N5WRW. Yeah, I used it a lot, especially I used to call a net on 75 meters, and it was really handy for that.
Yeah, I bet. It makes a difference definitely when you need that extra kick to punch through. So absolutely. Do you have a good power supply for the amp? You got all the fixings for that? Back to you.
Well, the power supply is built in. It's a Maritron 811H, and it's got 4 811 tubes in it. You have to learn how to tune it up, but it's not very hard. And I've got a 3 kilowatt antenna tuner that I run it through. It always worked quite well.
Very cool, man. That's exciting. So I guess you're going to be jumping on HF pretty soon. What bands are you going to be covering with that antenna that you got? Back to you.
5WRW. I think it covers everything from 80 to 6 supposedly, and I've got a good big antenna tuner with a big capacitor and a big roller inductor, and it'll probably let me deal with most things. And the radio I have coming has a built-in tuner as well.
Oh, very cool, man. What radio are you using for HF? Are you getting for HF? Back to you.
Oh, I kind of an ICOM 7300. Since I've tried to learn how to use my 9700, the 7300 is kind of its twin, and a lot of the things are about the same.
Yeah, usually you see those two side by side, so very cool, man. Yeah, you got a good setup there. Very cool, man. So hopefully you'll get up there and do your thing. 40 meters been really nice in the evenings, and heck, even 20 meters you can stay up talking until past midnight with Europe. So that's very exciting, man. I'm glad that you got that equipment coming in, and you'll be able to get on the bands. Do you have any favorite bands? Which one is your favorite band? Back to you.
WRW. Yeah, I'll tell you, when it's open, I really enjoy 10 meters a lot. You never know what's going to happen. I used to have a little mobile rig in my Toyota a million years ago, and I worked Sakhalin Island and Russia and New Zealand and Japan and everything on a 25 watts and a base-loaded whip. When it's open, it's a blast.
I agree. I have 10 meters in my truck too, and when it opens, I have a blast with that radio. It's a really fun van. I mean, a fun band. It's funny. I'm looking at a picture of a van right now. It's a really good band. I enjoy it as well when it's open. Like you said, you just never know who you're going to hear on the other side. It could be, a couple of 100 miles, and it could be, on the other side of the globe. So 10 meters is a very interesting band. I had a lot of fun at the beginning of this year when it was open. Hopefully we'll get back up soon. Well, very cool. Dwight, do you have anything else for the net before we move on?
Nope. I'm just kind of trying to dig through my pile of junk on the desk here and figure some things out. It just accumulates. And 5WRW, back to you.
Oh no, man, I hear you. Same here. It's every time the Okio's got a quarterly meeting, I go over there with a bunch of junk, with a box full of junk, and purge my shack. Well, very cool, Dwight. I appreciate you checking into the Weekend Wind Down Net. I hope you have an awesome rest of your Sunday and a really good week. And hopefully we'll talk to you throughout the week, and we will see you here next Sunday. Let me do a quick ID. All right. You're listening to the Weekend Wind Down Net, hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. via the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. That was Dwight. We were talking to Dwight, and now we're going to go and check with Andy, KF5JLJ. Andy, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
This is Andy, KF5JLJ. Pretty good. Didn't do too much yesterday. After the breakfast meeting, went to help a bunch of high school students I mentor at Westlake High School, so spent the early part of the day with them, and then looked for the fox a little bit on the way home, and thought I'd go out later, but didn't end up doing that. Back to you.
So very cool, man. Yeah, we had a really good Saturday morning breakfast. We had a full house there. Had about 20-something people, 25 people. So that was a lot of fun. I got to see a bunch of people. And very cool, man. I know that you do the robotic team. Do you guys have any competitions, any tournaments coming up? Back to you.
Not right away. The kind of the junior varsity, if you will, team, they'll start up in late August or September, and then the kids that I work with more, their season doesn't actually start until January. But in between there, we have lots to do. We do a lot of off-season projects. In fact, this weekend the kids were working on doing a mashup of parts of two games from previous years and designing a robot that will work in this mashed up game. And I think they're getting close to finishing that. And then when the school year starts, they'll actually build that robot so everybody can get experience and see how they do. Back to you.
That's very neat, man. I bet that's it's kind of refreshing to see some of those kids getting into the robotics and making things happen. Instead of the bad news that we hear most of the time from young guys getting in trouble. So that's really cool, man, that you get to help them out and that they're taking the opportunity and making this happen. It's an interesting thing. I mean, obviously, I don't have the brain power to get into robotics, because that sounds like it's a complicated hobby. But it looks like a lot of fun for sure. And like I said, it's really interesting to see those kids planning and getting so involved. I got to talk to one the other day. His grandpa is a ham, and he was at breakfast, and he was telling me all of the things that they do, on his club, and I was pretty impressed, man. I was very impressed with the things that goes that happens behind the scenes to get this competitions and everything going. So that's very neat that you get to help them. Was that your background? Did you work on robots before? How do you get started on this? Back to you, Andy.
No, it's not my background. My neighbor was a mentor about, 12 years ago now, I think, 11 or 12, and he asked me if I would come in, so I did, and helped him for that year. The next year he wasn't there, so I came in, and I wasn't really with a team, because we had several teams within the school. So I just assigned myself a mentor at large in the shop. So I teach the kids how to use the lathe and the mill and CNC machine and a bunch of hand tools and so forth. So that's kind of my area with it. But we had one kid there yesterday. The Boston Dynamics Spot robot. Well, he's decided that he's going to make his own version of it. Obviously not as complex as theirs, but still he's designed the whole thing in SolidWorks, a 3D CAD program, and
is getting all the parts for it, so he's going to try to build this thing and see what he can do with it. To you?
So that's very interesting. First, how you ended up doing that, which is pretty cool that you weren't even planning on getting into robotics, and that kid doing that. Basically you're working with future, robot builders and the people who be, in charge of companies like that you mentioned. These kids are going to be the next generation working on those things. So that's cool, man. I'm glad to hear that that it's happening, and people like you are helping them out. That's very nice. Some of them hams or not interested. They're not interested in ham radio. Back to you, Andy.
Actually, that's something that I just started exploring. I've got them the technician study guides. We probably won't get into it too much until the school year starts, but there was some interest in it, so I'm going to pursue that, see if I can't get a couple more hams. I've got James from LBJ. He said he's willing to come over and talk to them, so hopefully we'll get a couple of them interested in it. Maybe get a radio set up there. We'll see what happens. But I think it'd be really neat to get them involved in it.
Very cool. I have a suggestion, 2 things to mention to them that might get them interested. The first one is satellites. I'm sure they'll probably geek out about being able to use satellites for communication with handhelds and whatever. And then the other thing is fox hunting, because that's the other thing that usually gets people excited. So I would mention those things to them, those 2, maybe bouncing signals off the moon, but I bet you they'll drool over. Well, I don't know. That's just me thinking over satellite communications. Back to you.
Yeah, I did actually do a demo of Echolink with them to a couple hams in Ireland, and they really got a kick out of that, especially when they heard Austin pronounced with a Irish accent. They like that a lot. So I'm pretty sure I can get at least a couple, and once I get a couple, then word of mouth will probably get others interested in it. But we'll see. Hopefully. Back to you.
Very cool, man. Yeah, have James and the gangs go and visit them, because they're cool kids, and they'll get them excited. They're a gang of cool kids over there at Lassa School, so I bet you that will help as well. Well, Andy, do you have anything else for the net before we move on? Back to you.
No, I think that's it for me. James was worried about the fact that he was a bit different. I said, don't worry. All these kids are kind of different as well. They're all very technically oriented, and I think that he would fit right in with the rest of us. So hopefully we'll get him in there. Back to you. That's all I've got.
Well, very cool. Yeah, man, that's what we all get along, because we're all different. A bunch of weirdos on the radio. Well, very cool, Andy. I appreciate you checking in to tonight's net. I hope you have an awesome week as well, and we'll be talking to you throughout the week for sure, man. Thanks again. Andy, KF5JLJ. Now we're going to go and check with Mr. Jason, KB5MPJ. Jason, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
Good enough. So, let's see, Friday night, did a little bit of HF, made a couple of contacts, but was able to get some DX, one to Hungary and one to Croatia on 20-meter phone, kind of late, probably 10:30 to 11 at night. And then went to the breakfast, and that was cool to go up there and see everybody. After breakfast, I went with Dave. I forget his call sign, but we went over and helped Justin AI5OS with the hex beam that had gotten damaged, so we helped splice a couple of wires and push the mast back up. And then let's see, yeah, yesterday was a pretty big day. Did that. I went rock climbing, and then a friend of mine had a birthday party, so all kinds of stuff yesterday. Today's been pretty chill, but yeah, a lot of stuff, especially on Saturday. Back to Ned.
Yeah, Jason, I've been running this net for I think over a year now, every weekend. And if I have to give somebody an award for having the most awesome weekends, that would be you, man. You always do some fun stuff out there. It's funny. I always tell me this, like, man, Jason's always having fun out there. We need to hang out with him more. Very cool on the 20-meter contact. I was just talking about that earlier. Dwight, it's pretty interesting how this time of the year you can get, you can talk to Europe on 20 meters late at night, because as I remember studying for my licenses, I remember that 20 meters is something that you usually associate with daytime. So that is very cool that you get to do that. Now, what antenna and how much juice were you pushing when you were making those contacts, Jason? Back to you.
So I was on my NFED half wave, that 135-foot half wave, and putting out about 600 watts.
Oh, very cool, man. Very cool. So that's a good punch out there with 600 whiskey. That's definitely. Have you talked to that area? Europe on 20 meters, just barefoot. Have you ever done that one? Back to you.
Yeah, I have. I was having a little difficulty with it last night, so I went ahead and turned the amp on. I did try it barefoot first and just wasn't getting through. But yeah, I have a few times. It can be difficult. But I mean, one time I even reached Italy on 10 meters, and it was someone that I'd worked before on 20 and 40, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, you can get over there on 100 watts or less.
Cool, man. Every time I'm asking you, just in case there are new hams listening, so you can, if the conditions are good, just with your radio and a good antenna, you can talk to people all over the place. And yeah, man, breakfast was awesome. This week was pretty good. We got good crowd, so I'm really excited about those breakfasts. It's been fun. It's definitely been a lot of fun lately. We get, like I said, a bunch of people and new hams as well. And you were talking about David, K7TVA. He was there too, and thank you for helping you guys for helping Justin with that antenna. I was planning on doing that during the week, but yeah, this other project that I'm doing is keeping me completely, tied up throughout the week and the weekend. Very cool with the rock climbing, man. You're always doing those things, and I wish I could do that, but my hands hurt by just thinking about it. So I would not do that. Obviously, will not. I will stay on the floor. I won't kill myself. Very cool. You got any cool plans for the week, Jason? Back to you.
No, I don't really have too much yet. I was kind of waiting to hear from Ray. He's camping, and he was going to let me know if he gets on the air. So I might POTA hunt him if I hear from him during the week. But other than that, that's kind of all I've got going.
Very cool. Keep an eye also for Lance. W5KEX is going to be in New Mexico, somewhere I think near Ruidoso, New Mexico, and he's going to be trying to chess from over there. So we'll keep an eye Discord, or I don't know if he's going to be texting this way, but if you text me, I'll ping you so you know, and I'll probably post it on Discord as well, because he's going to be out there. I think it's this week. I got a text earlier, but I haven't checked now. But I know that a few guys out there are doing parks on the air and portable operations, so we will keep an eye on that. Well, very cool, Jason. Do you have anything else for the net before we move on?
No, I think that's it. Yeah, let me know if you hear from Lance. I'll try to reach him when he's out there. I was actually in that area a few weeks ago, but didn't do any radio. It wasn't a radio trip. But yeah, I'll look out for Lance too. KB5MPJ, back to net.
Right on, man. Yeah, I'll keep you posted if I hear from him during the week. Well, very cool, Jason. Really cool hanging out with you yesterday. Thanks for coming to breakfast, and thank you for checking in to the Weekend Wind Down Net. It's always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. And hopefully we'll talk during the week. For sure, we'll be in touch. All right, well, that was Jason, KB5MPJ, and that was my last person on my first round of check-ins. Let me do a quick ID, and we'll keep the party going on here. All right. On your radio and you don't know what's going on here, this is the Weekend Wind Down Net hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. via the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. Alright, we're looking for check-in, so if you would like to check into this awesome net, please call Net Control with your name and call sign.
This is November 5 Alpha Papa Delta N5 APD, Danny in Johnson City.
This is Kilo Juliet 5, Bravo Lima Charlie, Charles, out between Pflugerville and Copeland.
This is AI5A, Rick in South Austin. Good evening.
This is KG5TNF. On the east side, no traffic.
Alright, there was a double there on the last one. I have W5KYU and somebody else called in at the same time after Rick. Who was it? Please call back with your name and call sign. We check with homie later. Alright, well, let's go up and check with Mr. Danny, N5APD. Danny, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
Hey, Ernesto, this is N5APD. I had a really good weekend. I'm always disappointed when I don't get to meet up with y'all for breakfast, but, I can't attend every activity a lot of times, and so, I've always been into cars and trucks and old stuff like that, so there was a car swap meet out in Fredericksburg this weekend, and it was only 300 or 400 vendors, but I met some interesting people and picked up a couple of actually old radios there at that car swap meet. Back to you.
Were they ham radios or just, music radio? Back to you.
Oh, a couple of ham radios. It was kind of funny. There was a guy in the parking lot next to me taking pictures of a van that had some unique markings on it about being armed and loaded. I remember seeing a lady get out of that. And anyway, him and I got to talking. He was with a little boy, and so when he walked off, I thought, well, he seemed like a pretty intelligent guy and leveled and pretty squared away guy. And then about 2 hours later, I ran into him again when I was talking to a vendor about some old car parts and stuff like that. And there was another fellow there, and he had a box, an ICOM box, and I asked him about it. I'll let this drop. I asked him about the radio, and he said he found it under one of the at one of the vendors. He paid $40 for it. It was probably a 20-year-old ICOM radio that was in the box and new. So he asked me if I was a ham. I said, yeah, I'm pretty much a new ham. And then the vendor yelled out. He said that he was a ham. And then the young fellow with the little boy that I was talking to in the parking lot, he said he was a ham, that they were all from Kerrville. So it was kind of a funny deal. I kind of enjoyed it. Back to you.
Very cool, man. I bet that was fun, finding out that people were ham around you there. Did you get that ICOM radio? Back to you.
No, that's how I had purchased it. I did find a couple of old radios. I come away with a old Zenith Oceanic H500 in excellent shape. That radio was produced with that particular model from about 1951 through about 1962 shortwave radio, and I paid $20 for it. It's a remarkable shape, so that was really cool. And then I found a Heathkit model FM H4, and that's a receiver preamp type deal from the 60s, and it was in really good shape as well. So all in all, it was a good weekend. Missed hanging out with you guys for breakfast, but I had a good time out there at that car swap meet in Fredericksburg. Back to you.
Very cool, man. Yeah, we missed you there, but we're there every Saturday, and the car swap meet is not. So we are glad. I'm glad that you were able to make it there. Got to meet new hams and came home with some cool radios. It's always fun. I got I forgot. I got really lucky over the weekend too. My mobile radio is dying out. I think there's an issue with the internal computer, the CPU, for what I see online. It basically dies on me while I'm transmitting. It used to be only 2 meters, but now it's 7 centimeters too. Just left me right there. I'm talking for a while, and then I look down, and it's been off for who knows that long. But Bill K5EB brought me a radio, man. He got me the homie hookup and gave me an ICOM 2730. He brought it to breakfast on Saturday, so I am installing that guy this week on my truck, because I've been basically receiving only, and you know that for me that is an issue. I need to talk, otherwise the voices in my head will take over. Well, very cool, Danny. Do you have anything else for the net before we move on?
Well, I know about those voices in your head. I'm a legend in my own mind, but I try to contain it as best as possible. But I hear you. Anyway, no, that's about all I've got. It's always great to hear you guys, and I look forward to maybe catching up with you this next coming weekend. So this is N5 APD.
Awesome, Danny. It was always a good thing hanging out with you and seeing you in person, and awesome talking to you here on the Weekend Wind Down Net. So I always appreciate you calling in and saying hi, my friend. All right, Danny, we'll talk. You have an awesome week, and we'll talk throughout the week for sure. All right, that was Danny, N5 APD. Now we're going to go and check with Mr. Charles, KJ5BLZ. Charles, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
Well, actually, it's pretty good tonight. I just had to, I have to go visit my sister who's been in the hospital, and she's up in Georgetown, so I didn't quite make it back at the beginning, but I'm glad I still made it. Yesterday, I was trying to get in on your Elmer's net, and just had all kinds of radio issues. So, anyway, I think I kind of got those straightened out now. Didn't realize that the radio I was on the verge of dying, basically, from a low battery, and I think that caused most of the problem. I'll pause. The other thing that I've been doing when I'm not working on the farmhouse or the RV that I'm in right now is studying for the general, and actually making some pretty good progress on that. I trying out the fast track curriculum, and seems to be working pretty well. So I did get in on the two questions. Wasn't able to respond last night, but I got them both right, so felt pretty good about that. So anyway, that's this week. I'm going to be spending some time providing child care for a grandson, and I'll be working some more of those questions. So anyway, things are doing pretty good now. Back to net. KJ5BLC.
Well, very cool, Charles. Sorry you couldn't make it last night into the net. We had a fun Elmer's net yesterday, but yeah, that, like I said, I mean, it happens a lot, man. Sometimes I use my HT a lot here at the house, and every once in a while, I'm, middle of the conversation, and I realize the HT is about to die. I have an extra battery here somewhere because I usually have to charge it every day because of the heavy use. It was very cool, and I'm sorry to hear that your sister is in the hospital. I hope everything, goes well and things normalize soon. Well, very cool on congratulations on studying for your general fast track. Do you have the book, or do you do the audiobook, or are you doing both? Back to you.
Actually, I'm doing it on a Kindle, as a matter of fact, so that worked out to be less expensive and works out pretty well with my iPad, so I'm making progress. I realized, I was thinking about it, at the end of each chapter they give you the full 35 questions, and you're reviewing a lot of the previous ones along with the new ones that were covered, but it has like 42 chapters, so at the end of this you've done 42 tests at 35 questions each. So it kind of drills it into your brain, I think. Back to net.
It's a good. That's the program that I use for all of mine. I did both. I bought the book so that I could go and look at the illustrations, but I did the audiobook because that way I could listen to it while I was driving and moving around and doing all kinds of stuff. I wouldn't have to sit down and study. I could do it while doing other things. And it worked out well. That for whatever reason that guy does not put me to sleep. He keeps me awake. He's got a good system going on, good voice, and all things. So I enjoyed it. I bumped into that by a complete accident, but I really like that method. So I'm a fan of that one. Very cool, man. When are you planning on sitting for your exam? Back to you.
I'm looking at September, I think, just not rush it too much and be ready to take it. So anyway, I've got this HF radio sitting here looking me in the face, and I'm ready to try it out. So hopefully in September.
What radio do you have there? Back to you.
This is a Kenwood TS940S. It's an oldie but goodie, and I've been trying to figure out how I could maybe put up a 10-meter half-wave dipole and try it out that way, but haven't had time to get around to doing that. So I've got all the stuff, just needs the time. Back to net.
Very cool, man. Yeah, you can put a 10-meter. You can put also a 6-meter one, because 6-meter every once in a while pops up open, and you get to talk to a bunch of people, and you have, you can use the entire band there on 6 meters as well. So very cool, man. I'm glad to hear that things are going well, and that you have that license, a general license in the future. It's a lot of fun. If you put an antenna where you can monitor, 20 and 40 and 17 meters and 15 meters, you'll hear there's a lot of activity. So it's worth for sure getting the general, in my opinion, because it basically opens all of the bands, and you can just talk day and night. It's a really cool thing to have. Well, very cool, Charles. Do you have anything else for the net before we move on?
Just one thing. I hear about all the people dealing with HOAs and all of that. We're on a 20-acre farm out in the country, so I don't have that problem. I'll have plenty of space to put up antennas when I get around to having the time to do it. So that's it. KJ5BLC, back to net.
Oh, sweet, man. Well, you can have an antenna farm over there, like, you know, a few of everything. You can have all the bands have one vertical, one horizontal for everything, and oh, man, that is paradise. Awesome, man. Well, glad to hear that everything's going well. I hope you have an awesome week, and I hope we also get to talk throughout the week, and, you know, hop in on the repeater and put your call sign out there. We're usually listening. And we'll hear from you hopefully next week and see what's going on the radio world. All right, well, that was Charles, KJ5BLC. And I should do a quick ID here before I get in trouble with the feds. Well, this is a Weekend Wind Down Net hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN. On Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. via the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. All right, we were talking to Charles. Now we're going to go and check with Mr. Rick, AI5A. Rick, what's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you? AI5A from KI5PZN the net. Rick, are you around?
Yeah, KI5PZN from AI5A. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Now I can hear you. You're probably pressing the wrong mic over there like I do all the time. What's going on, man? How's life treating you?
Well, things are going pretty well. Been doing some work on my simplex node, or not my simplex node, my radioless node here, and that's what I'm coming in on. And yeah, there is. I have it right now in a weird mode where if I key up too soon, I think that's what happened. I keyed up too soon, and when I keyed up, it thought that you were still talking, so it didn't let me transmit, and I think that's why you didn't hear me. So that might be something I need to fix. But I'm pretty happy with this with how this project came out. I had this project box that I got at Belton Hamfest a couple years ago, like 2 years ago, and yeah, I kind of had this idea to build a radioless node, and you can actually get Raspberry Pi boards now. They're actually in stock, so ordered one of those and put together a little radioless All-Starlink node. That's kind of been my project for the last week or week and a half. And yeah, so that's been keeping me busy. Other than that, I've been doing some behind-the-scenes stuff on the Oak Hill repeater stuff. Worked on the All-Starlink hub, got Echolink working up there again, and have some other plans that I've been working on to modernize that system a little bit. So that's been keeping me busy as well. And yeah, overall it's been a pretty good weekend. I can't really complain. Yeah, just wanted to jump in and support the net and say hello. And I do need to still respond to your Discord message. I did not forget about you. Yeah, I think actually here's a question for you. If you've been listening to the 220 machine lately, how has it been doing? Has the feedback loop issue gone away? Because you were asking about relinking that to the Saturday night 220 net. So I have not been monitoring that as much lately. So curious if you've been listening to it.
Yeah, man, I usually have the 220 here on, because usually it's just linked to Kyle's system, so it's been working fine so far. I have no issues. You know, not that I've seen, I haven't heard. If anything, it's usually whenever I hear some funky noises are coming from the 775, it's like some weird, you know, digital, I guess, noise coming in, but not on this one. Not on the 220. The 220 seems to be usually very nice. Back to you.
Oh, very cool, man. Well, yeah, I'll do the work to make that. Sorry about that. I'll do the work to get that reconnected on the Saturday night 220 net. And yeah, I know people enjoy that net a lot, so glad things are working there again, and yeah, we'll try it out again, see what happens.
Well, very cool, man. I appreciate you helping out with the repeaters, because you know how that goes. It's just whenever they feel like acting up, they'll do. On the radio left, no. Does that have like a built-in microphone, or do you have, you have to somehow MacGyver microphone into that setup? Back to you. I'm curious.
I really need to do a blog post. If you look at Kyle's Discord server, I wrote up a couple of paragraphs, a couple of somewhat long messages about various problems I ran into. So I did have to MacGyver a microphone to make things work. I tried various configurations. It turns out, I wanted an actual, a ham handheld microphone with a push-to-talk button. And so I drilled a hole in the case and put an 8-pin aviation mic connector on there. And but it turns out most ham microphones they are electric. I can't think of the word, but they want to be powered. They want bias voltage so that they're amplified enough. And if you don't do that, then you need to do some kind of preamp after the microphone so it's loud enough to actually be heard. And one of my constraints for this project was, I'm only using the Raspberry Pi board, and I'm just powering the whole thing with 5 volts. And I didn't want to have to run, another wire or something. Like, I was kind of like figuring out what to do. Figuring out if I could find a microphone that didn't need bias voltage, or if I could somehow kind of like come up with some kind of preamp schematic that would actually work okay. What I ended up doing was just getting a step-up converter from 5 volts to 8 volts and powering the microphone that way, and it's been working fine. So I guess the lesson there is to not overcomplicate things when simple circuits work.
Well, very cool, man. That sounds like a very interesting project. The audio is really, really good. I can hear you very well. It's a little bit on the low side of the spectrum, but, if I crank up the volume, I can hear you very clearly. So it's a really good audio. I'm sure you probably have to crank up something there for the volume for, just so that people can hear you well. But absolutely, is that a radio that you're planning on taking with you when you're traveling? Well, it's not a radio, a Node that you're planning on taking with you? Back to you.
It is indeed, yeah. I think it's public enough out there now that I'm going to be moving soon, and that's actually why I built this. Is because once I move, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get a full setup going, and wanted something I could just plug in and kind of dial back into the repeaters and nets in this area. So yeah, that's the plan, and that's kind of why I came up with the project.
Well, very cool, man. Do you know what type of antenna you're going to be putting over there for HF now that you're going to have maybe more space than in your current location? Back to you.
I actually don't know yet, and I don't know that it's true that I'm going to have more space, because kind of the idea is I'm going to be buying an apartment, so whatever I put out there, I have to first off make sure that the other people in the other apartments in the building are okay with it, and done some initial scouting out. I think it won't be an issue, but I don't exactly know what's going to go up on the roof yet. Might do something kind of similar like I had with the mag loop here for HF. I think that worked out really well. I don't know. Probably once I actually get settled in and see what's what, I think can kind of explore options. Maybe I'll be able to throw a wire somewhere and people won't care. I can do a dipole kind of thing. Just not sure. We'll see what happens. but I will definitely have something because I need my radio.
Well, very cool. I have two questions. Follow-up question. Do you know if you are going to have limitations of power where you cannot push 100 watts if it's lower over there? And are you going to have access to 4 meters? Back to you.
That's a good question on 4 meters. I don't think that's a thing in Germany. I think that's more of a UK thing. That's a good question. As far as the wattage limitation, no, I mean I think instead of 1500, I think it's 1000 watts is their legal limit. So yeah, I mean I'm not going to be reaching that limit anytime soon. So no, it'll be fine.
Oh, very cool, man. I know that you're not a CBer, an 11 meter guy, but I wonder how 11 meters is over there. I know it's pretty busy in the UK area. They're still super busy, but I know that's not your flavor, so I'm going to leave you alone with that one. Well, very cool, man. Glad to hear that things are going well and that you got all these projects going on, and thanks again for helping out with the repeaters for the Oak. Any cool plans for this week? Back to you.
Well, I am actually taking a couple days off. I'll be working Monday and Tuesday this week, and then taking the rest of the week off. And on Wednesday is actually my birthday, and so I wanted that day off, and then got to prepare for some upcoming travel, going to a friend's party that he's throwing, a birthday party out of state, and so that'll be that'll require a little bit of preparation. Shouldn't be too bad. It's just gonna be a short trip, but yeah, that's my plan for the week. Just working the first couple days, and then taking the rest of the day, rest of the week to myself, and like I said, preparing for travel and celebrating my birthday by relaxing around the apartment and probably packing and studying German.
Oh, very cool, man. Well, man, early happy birthday. Hope your week is awesome and you get to enjoy those days off and your short trip for the party. That sounds pretty good. I've been wanting to travel. It will happen after the project, but very cool, man. I'm glad to hear that. It sounds like these are exciting times for you. Well, Rick, do you have anything else for the net before we move on?
K5TR.
Hey, George.
Hi, can I have some comments for Rick?
Absolutely, man. Go for it.
So first of all, your audio does sound good, but you're like 10 dB, maybe 15 dB down from Ernesto. And I know Ernesto is loud, but your audio is so weak I have to turn the volume up all the way to hear you. And on the 2.5 repeater, after all the transitions, it's even worse. So find the mic gain if you can do it. And thanks for doing all the work on the repeater stuff. AI5A in the net, K5TR.
All right. Well, I'm curious now. Give me another signal report here, or audio report. I had the gain at 700 on the simple USB menu. I've turned it up to 800. Is this any better?
That's better. You could go more, I think.
All right, here's 900. Looks like it's, I don't know, I said that and now it looks like it's clipping out the meter a little bit, but maybe not. How's this now?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm on the 2.5, which has funky audio right now. Doesn't have a lot of highs, but now I can actually hear you. I suspect you're still not as loud as your Nesto, but like I said, I'm not sure anybody else is.
Okay, yeah, I will. I might have to figure out something else for a mic here. I don't know. Like I said, that was probably the hardest part of this radioless node project, was coming up with a mic solution. Like I said, I'm doing a step up right now from 5 volts to 8 volts for the bias for the mic, and I don't know. Maybe it's not actually supplying 8 volts constantly enough that things are happy. Yeah, I don't know. I'll look into it and see what I can do.
Still sounds good on the 3.2. You could turn it up some more.
Well, I will. This is $9.99 now. I just turned it. This is as high as All-Star will let it go.
Like that. Anyway, all right. I'm not going to interrupt here. K5TR Mobile.
All right, thanks, George. I appreciate it. And back to the net, AI5A.
Awesome. Thank you, George. Rick, that fixed it, because now I don't have to be moving the volume knob here from one to the other. So, well, very cool, man. Again, have an awesome week, a good weekend, a good birthday is what I meant to say. And we'll be talking to you soon, man. We'll be over the repeater, or over Discord, but we'll talk soon, man. All right, well, that was Rick, AI5A, and let me do a quick ID so that I do not get in trouble with the feds. This is a Weekend Wind Down Net hosted by Ernesto, KI5PZN, on Sunday nights at 7:30 p.m. via the University Link repeater system and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. All right, that was Rick, AI5A. Now we are going to go check the cat. W5KYU. What's going on, man? How is the weekend treating you?
Hey, Ernesto, this is Kaz, W5KYU. I am, just trying to increase my capabilities and be heard. So I think last week was my first analog check-in on Thursday Night Net, and I think listening to playback on Broadcastify or whatever, I sounded very quiet. So hopefully I cranked up to like the max mic gain, and I'm coming through. Back to you.
Well, very cool, man. What type of radio are you using, and what part of town are you in? Back to you.
I am as far south and still be in Travis County as you can get, right off of 75 there, south of South Park Meadows, and I'm using a E-Tech EMR 6X2. Yeah, I think I got the DMR to those repeaters fine, but I'm working on the analog, trying to change antennas.
Very cool. Is that an HT? Back to you.
Yes, I think I'm pumping out 7 watts as my current setting, and I put on one of those like 38-inch folding antenna to kind of make it a little longer. I bought a mobile antenna, the Nagoya 72 mobile antenna. Try to attach to that, but I'm not doing well, I think.
All right, man. Well, this one is doing well. There's a little hum in the back, but I can hear very clearly. Very clear. It's good audio, so that's working out. And you're on an HT. What do you have for? Do you have a setup for HF? Back to you.
I did get an HF, a Zygu G90, right? And that I'm lacking in a good antenna. So again, it's back to the antennas. I'm trying to learn.
Right on, man. What antenna? Well, do you have it? What antenna do you have right now? And do you have what type of? Do you have a back back patio, or you live in an apartment? What's the situation there as far as space goes?
Yeah, I'm in a condo style development in which my backyard's only like 50 feet by 50 feet. So I think some of the wire antennas that I'm reading about usually stretch a little longer for some of the HF bands. So right now I just have like I think a Comet toy box antenna that can do some of those frequencies.
Right on, man. Well, I mean, you can also try the vertical. I have a super antenna that covers 80 through, I think it's 80 through 10, I think. I can't remember if it goes down to 6, but, or up, I should say. But that's interesting because we have people living in places kind of like that where you describe, and they make it happen, they make it work. On the end fed, it doesn't have to be a straight line to work. So if, you can set it up and turn it around. And mine is kind of like it turns to the left, so it's kind of like a weird L-shaped type of situation, and then it goes down. So it's not by any means, it's not straight. I don't have the real estate to put 135 foot dipole here in this property. So you could get creative. You can look on YouTube on ways to do that, but it doesn't have to be a straight line on the end fed to make it work. Back to you.
That's a good idea. I'll try that. Also, you said super antenna. I thought I saw something like that with a few options. With I think the maximum the package has all the way down to 2 meters. So that sounds kind of interesting. But I think I really want just the 2 meter first, and then some of the HF bands. And also, I saw something called I think Yaesu has. Like an ATOS micro or something like that? Anybody have any experience with that?
Let me open up the floor to see if somebody can call in and give you good advice on antenna. Hopefully George is still around. Please call in with your name and call sign. K5TR, are you still around?
N5WRW.
Right, go ahead.
Is the Yaesu the folding dipole that they sell?
I was reading about the Yaesu ATOS, ATAS micro. I think there's a 120 version too, which is bigger, but I think the micro is probably up my alley. I'm really doing very low power. I think my Zygoose the most power I have at 20 watts.
Roger. What kind of antenna is the ATOS?
I think it's a vertical.
Okay, I gotcha. Sure. Yeah, verticals have some advantage, really. They have a lot of low-angle radiation, so if conditions are right, you can get out pretty well.
Thank you. Yeah, I am exploring my options, and one thing I want to add is a little, I guess, side note is that a couple of weeks ago in the quarterly meeting, I met Rex and with Aries, and I feel like I'm learning ham with a purpose now. Okay.
Well, very cool. Thank you, Dwight, for chipping in. Well, Kai, I would say you might want to go on Discord and ask the guy. We have the antenna channel because there are several options for you. And Dwight, the ATAS that Kai is mentioning is a screwdriver antenna. I've been thinking about getting it for my truck. So that's the little ATAS. Those are, you know, I've heard they're good for mobile. I don't know. I'm sure they're fine too. I mean, but I would say go to Discord into the antenna channel and check out, and the guys will be more than happy to help you out. And by the way, 20 watts when the conditions are good, when the bands are open, you can get really far, man. So that's not, you know, nothing to be. It's not QRP, so you'll be fine with good conditions. Have you made any contacts on HF so far?
I haven't even fixed the pigtail yet.
All right, man. Well, you know, like I said, just feel free to post question on Discord, and we'll be more than happy to help out. But there are, like I said, there are options on horizontal and vertical. I'm sure you can probably have both of those at your place. And are you able to put an antenna on your attic for like 2 meters and 70 centimeters? Back to you.
I was just up there in the attic. A lot of blown insulation, and yeah, there's not a lot of space, and I don't know where to step even. So much blown insulation. Yeah, but that was a thought.
Right on. And so far, you are doing well on this repeater, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Obviously, if you wanted to simplex, then you will need it'll be more fun if you have a better and high antenna out there, because that definitely it's what makes the difference there. Well, very cool, man. I'm glad to hear that you are getting busy with ham radio. I saw you pass your test. It was pretty cool to see that you're already getting all your stuff in place. Do you have a mobile radio in your vehicle by any chance? Back to you.
I do not, and it seems like that has been a recommendation. It seems like if I want like VHF at higher wattage, that might be the way to go to avoid my antenna issues a little bit. And actually, I bought a Mirage amp, a 34G, which will take me to 35 watts that I can plug into my handheld. So I think I guess finding a solution to a problem that I probably don't need.
Oh man, that's fine, because then you put an antenna up at your house and you plug it into your HD, and if you have that amp there, it's 35 watts. That's more than enough, because most of us use way lower wattage here to reach the repeater. I'm on the 320 right now, so I usually crank it up to make sure that I'm full quieting. But if I'm using the 775 here, I can hit that thing with 5 watts. So, and it's full quiet. So you'll be surprised, man, what you can do with a good antenna. So I think at this point it sounds like you need a good antenna for 2 meters and 70 centimeters. And then figuring out what to put for HF. Like I said, the guys, be more than happy to help you with the antenna situation, because if like with radio, if you go to a group of hams and ask what the recommendation for antenna, you're gonna get a really long list. So, you listen to all of them and you'll figure out what works for you at your current location. That's how usually it works, because what works for me here might not work for you there. It's depends on so many factors. But well, very cool, man. Glad to hear that like I said, that you getting things in order there to get ready with your station. Or do you have anything else for the net, man, before we move on?
That's it. Back to net control.
Well, very cool, Kai. I appreciate you checking into the net. I hope you have an awesome week, and it'll be really cool, man, to hear you on the repeater more often. So call in when you get a chance, and we'll be more than happy to say hi to you. All right, well, let's see. It's 10 minutes till 9, and we do not want to go over 9 because we have the swap net going on, so it looks like it's time to wrap up the net. But before we do that, let me read you a list of some of the local nets that you can stay radioactive throughout the week. Started on Mondays with the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club 6-meter Monday, and that's on the 50.125 megahertz at 8 p.m. Also on Mondays, the Williamson County Amateur Radio Club Newham Net, and that's on the 146.640 megahertz repeater, also at 8 p.m. And also another one at 8 p.m. on Mondays is the Texas A&M University Amateur Radio Club Information and Training Net. That's on the N5 OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system at 8 p.m. On Tuesdays we have the Oak Hill Southside Simplex hosted by Ray K5BZI, and that's on the 146.555 megahertz frequency at 8 p.m. and that's a simplex frequency, meaning that we're not using a repeater. You can crank it up, your power 146.555, and you can talk to the guys. And if you dial in to the 146.555 on Tuesdays around 8 or a little bit after and you don't hear anybody, sometimes the conversation's kind of paused, so if you throw your call sign out there, they'll come back at you. So if you don't hear, just call CQ and they'll say hi to you. It's a fun group. It's Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. On Wednesdays we have the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday Net. That's on the University Link repeater system and the N5 OAK repeater system at 8 p.m. On Thursdays, we have two nets. We have the Oak Hill CW net hosted by Pat, W5WTH, and that's on the 3.532 megahertz frequency at 7:30 p.m. 3.532, and that's 80 meters, but that's a CW portion, and if you are a technician, you can participate on that, and you don't have to be a good CW operator. You can use a computer, you can use an app, and it's a fun group as well, so hop in and say hi. That's on Thursday night at 7:30, again on 3.532 megahertz. And then at 8 p.m., also on Thursday, it's the Oak Hill Thursday Night Net hosted by a different operator every week. That's on the N5 OAK repeater system and the University Link repeater system. Again, that's at 8 p.m. on Thursdays. On Saturdays, we have at 10 a.m. the K5LPJ Lhasa High School net, and that's again at 10 a.m. and that's on the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and also on the 146.940 megahertz repeater, and again that's at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Also on Saturdays at 7 p.m. the Austin Amateur Radio Club Elmer's net hosted by Jeff and 5MNW, and that's again on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 7 p.m. on Saturdays. At 9 p.m. on Saturdays, the 220 megahertz guys original preservation net hosted by Steve KB9DSQ, and that's on the 224.100 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. And if you don't have a 220 radio, you can use Echolink, and you can connect to WM9W-R. That's Whiskey Mike Niner Whiskey Romeo. It's a fun net on Saturdays at 9 p.m. On Sundays, we have four nets. We start at 3 p.m. with the Austin Amateur Radio Club 10-meter weekly net, and that's on the 28.410 megahertz at 3 p.m. Then at 7 p.m., the Travis County Aries weekly net, and that's on the 147.360 megahertz repeater. 7:30 this one, the weekend wind down net, hosted by me, Ernesto KI5PZN, on the University Link repeater system and the N5 OAK repeater system. And coming up at 9 p.m. it's the Austin Amateur Radio Club SwapNet, hosted by Jeff, N5MNW, and that's on the 146.940 megahertz repeater at 9 p.m. Go and check it out. It's starting at 9 p.m. in a few minutes. And don't forget to go to n5oak.org to check the calendar for all of these nets. We also have a DMR machine that's got nets almost every night, so you will see those on the N5OAK calendar for the net. So there you go, guys. We have plenty of activities to keep you busy. Oh, and then there's one on Tuesdays that I forgot. The Absolute Tech Net, and that's we've been playing that on the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system, and I think that starts at 6 p.m. and it's on Tuesday. That's a fun one as well. Well, now I think I covered all of them. Alright, well, let's get a count on tonight's check-in. We had 7 check-ins, so I would like to thank each and every one of you guys for checking into tonight's net, and that was Dwight, Andy, Jason, Danny, Charles, Rick, and Todd. Thank you guys for participating here and making it happen. Alright, well, thank you for joining me tonight on the Weekend Wind Down Net. I hope that even if your weekend was a bust, and definitely if it was a blast, that we all keep the momentum, focus on the positive, and here's to a great start to your week. I would like to thank Kyle, KA5D, and the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club for letting me use their repeater system for this net. To learn more about the University Link repeater system, please visit ka5d.com. If you would like to learn more about the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, including how to become a member and how to join the club's Discord server, please visit n5oak.org. I'm Ernesto, KI5PZN, and from my QTH in East Austin, Texas, 73, and thanks again for participating and listening tonight. This system is now returned to regular amateur use. Good night, y'all.
KF5JLJ, for Jason, I'm sorry, I forgot your call.
Yeah, this is KB5MPJ.
Yeah, thank you for helping with the antenna. I went out there a couple weeks ago to try to lift it up, and I just couldn't get enough leverage to get it up as high as you wanted. So hopefully I didn't do any damage. You mentioned that there was some damage to it.
Yeah, it was a couple of the actual antenna wires. I think it was. I can't remember if it was the driven element or the reflector wire, but a couple of them had pulled off of the little ropes that and were dangling, so we just recrimped them.
Okay. Yeah, I got up there on a step ladder and was trying to lift the thing, but there was so much kind of stiction, if you will, in hoisting the mast that I couldn't get it up and then hold it long enough to tighten it down again. I suppose if I'd gotten up on the roof, it would have been okay, but that was a little bit dicey for me. I just don't bounce as well as I used to, so I couldn't get it up there for him, but glad that you were able to fix it for him.
Yeah, well, I also had David out there. I think it's K7TVA, or I forget his call sign, but he was. We both got up on the roof and did it, and that was really the only way to do it. What I think was to have two people on the roof. So one person can be pushing the pole up, and then someone else can tighten the clamp. So that's how we finally got it.
Yeah, that's what I needed as well, because I just couldn't do it by myself as much as I wanted to.
Yeah, I don't think I could have either. And I'm glad David went, because I wasn't 100% clear on what we were going to do. And then, yeah, when I saw it, yeah, I pretty much knew it was a two-man job. But we got it done. It didn't take too long.
Great. Glad to hear that's working for him. Well, that's all I really wanted to pass on there. But I wanted to find out, make sure that I had broken it in the process.
No, I don't think so. I don't know what condition those wires were in before, but I don't see how you could have from a step ladder or something. I think they were already dangling or had gotten cut somehow, and someone had done some repairs on it before with zip ties and stuff, and it just wasn't holding up anymore. Being in the sun, so we crimped some new little sleeves on it to retain those wires, and I think it's going to work fine.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that sounds good. This is KF5 JLJ clear.
Okay, yeah, it was good talking to you, and talk to you on here again soon. KB5MPJ clear with KI5JLJ 73.
73.
KI5PZN, Ernesto, are you online? This is N8IJ, Ignacio.
Hey Ignacio, this is KI5PZN. What's going on, man? I haven't heard you on the radio. Everything going well?
I'm sorry, did I double with anyone? My apologies. N8IJ.
No, you did not. I was just saying hi to you. This is KI5PZN.
Ernesto, good to hear your voice. You may not remember me. I'm a visitor, but I did attend the Boehner event a couple months ago, I guess, and had a terrific time meeting everyone. How are you, sir?
Oh, no, man, I remember you. We have a very interesting conversation. Yeah, no, dude, you're doing fine. I just finished running the weekend wind down net. I don't know, what's going on, man? You just got to Austin, or what's up with the traveling? I know you travel a lot. Back to you.
Yes, I'm visiting my son. I'll be here for a little while. And I was wondering, if I remember from my notes from our conversation, everyone from the club meets Saturday mornings at Waterloo Ice House at Burnett and 183, and also for pizza Wednesday night. And I'd like to can't make both events, I'd like to make one of the events. So is that correct?
Well, we do meet together. We meet every Saturday around 8 a.m. on Waterloo, and that's on 8600 Burnett Road, which is just south of 183. That is correct, and that happens every Saturday. Now, the Wednesday deal, we did it a couple of weeks ago, and it was really awesome. We had a great time. But we're not doing it every Wednesday yet. I am still looking for, because I would like to do it in a different area so everybody can participate and, you know, everybody gets a chance of having it nearby, I would say. But we'll be picking different spots throughout town, and we'll be definitely sending an email. Now, do you get my emails with the reminders for the breakfast? Are you on that mailing list? Back to you.
No, I didn't know there was a mailing list, but if I can give you my email address if you like, and if you put me on the mailing list, I would be grateful.
That would be awesome, man. If you don't mind, either you can share it with me here, or I can give you my email just in case you want to share it here. It's either way. But my email address is my callsign KI5PZN @gmail.com, and I could put you on that list either way. But if you know, either way, I have a piece of paper here also.
I'll send the email to you. I'd rather not put out any email addresses out in public because then it gets flooded. You know how these things work. So I will send it to you, and I am grateful. Thank you very much. There are a few things I really very much wanted to talk to everyone about. One of them being I'm setting up Radio Shack in, of all places, my RV, and I was wondering if anyone had experience with that. And also, as you know, I'm on the experimental side, ham radio playing with, and playing is the word. It's more like spending money in gadgets. You know, plasma antennas and things of that nature. So I'd like to meet anybody who's interested in that. Also, I did hear some conversations, but it was at the DT Amateur Radio Club that I think it wasn't this one. It was at QMR.
Absolutely, I would say those Saturday morning breakfasts we get some very interesting folks over there. So you will definitely have a good time, and definitely people with a lot of knowledge. So you'll feel comfortable there sharing your project and with people that would understand what you're talking about. But very cool, man, very cool. Yeah, we've been doing radio lately, and oh, by the way, we do know people who have ham radios set up on RVs too. So shoot me an email, and now I can put you in contact with those guys. But have you been active on the radio, HF and VHF, UHF? Back to you, Ignacio.
Well, no, because summer are for visiting family and visiting the grandchildren back and forth across the country and in other countries. Uses up all my free time. But that ceases for me at the end of August, and then I settle in September, and that's when my real activity starts. And I know you share an interest, as I do, with satellite, and I'll be doing a lot of satellite work.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I know a couple of guys who are very good at satellites, and I have one friend here who, actually my Elmer, he's done CW on satellite, which I think it's pretty awesome in my opinion. Have you been doing any fun traveling by any chance? Back to you, Ignacio.
Oh, lots and lots of traveling. Perhaps too much. I'm looking forward to September when I can just settle down. Hey, if you're going to schedule the pizza get-togethers near people's PBHs, could you schedule one near mine in Valencia, Spain, please?
Absolutely, not a problem. Just send me that credit card so that I can buy all of the plane tickets, and we'll get it going, man.
Yeah, it would be quite a meeting. Yeah. Okay, Ernest, I'm going to let you be so other people can use also the repeater. But I did want to say hello and enjoyed our conversation very much last time. I even bought a book on Puerto Rican cuisine so I can learn how to make some Puerto Rican dishes. So I remember the great conversation we had. All right, Ernesto, thank you so much for all the information, and have a great week. Telling peace to you. This is N8IJ.
All right, Ignacio, you'll have to invite me over when you get those Puerto Rican dishes, and I'll let you know what I think. But, dude, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and looking forward to meeting you again in person. We had a really good conversation, and I would definitely like to have a cup of coffee with you again. So if you can make it again, it's every Saturday around 8 a.m., and we stay there for a few hours, and it's Waterloo Ice House on 8600 Burnett Road. And it's Burnett Road just south of 183. So looking forward to seeing you there, my friend. This is KI5PZN, and I'll be clear.
Ernesto, I give you an open invitation anytime. I enjoy cooking, so absolutely. And very good. This is N8IJ Ignacio Clear, and thank you for the use of the repeater.
Ignacio. This is KI5PZN, and I am clear as well.